And
Hello, my name is Adeline Daabous. I'm also known as Addie, and I'm the co-founder and executive director of Ideal Way, a charity located in Canada, outside Toronto. I'm humbled and honored to host this show today. Welcome, everyone. August 4, 2020, the fateful day of the Beirut explosion. Let me set the stage. Lebanon's already stressful economic and political situation has taken a crushing toll. Then the coronavirus pandemic hits, when suddenly a violent blast occurred which sucked the oxygen out of this beautiful city and its people. This is greater than anything there ever has been. It has been likened to the aftermath of the atomic bomb over Hiroshima. The blast occurred when fireworks caught fire and detonated 2,750 tons of highly volatile ammonium nitrate, which had been stored in the same building. The explosion was felt in Turkey, Syria, Israel, and parts of Europe, and was heard in Cyprus, more than 250 kilometers. That's 160 miles away. Nothing compared with this. Not the years of civil war, the assassinations, the car bombs. This was different. It is different. For the first time, we are hearing how children want to leave their beloved Lebanon. Few people have much hope now. In the words of Lebanese American poet and visual artist and philosopher Khalil Gibran, quote, "Out of suffering have emerged the strongest souls. The most massive characters are seared with scars." This describes my Lebanese people. Joining us today are 5 special guests of Lebanese descent: Dr. Sebastian Mahfoud, Vicky Mahfoud, Barry Mahfoud, Jeanette Daabous Hajjar, and Martin Mahfoud. Dr. Sebastian Mahfoud, Professor of Interdisciplinary Studies and Vice President of External Affairs, Holy Apostles College and Seminary in Cromwell, Connecticut, founder of Catholic publishing house called En Route Books and Media, which has produced over 100 titles since 2014, and an online Catholic radio station, WCAT Radio, which is where we are airing from today, which currently hosts about 5 dozen shows per week. The lovely Vicky Mahfoud from Florida, Barry Mahfoud from Florida, Jeanette Daabous Hajjar from Canada, and the wonderful Martin Mahfouz, who's visiting us from Beirut. This brings us to family. Who is my family? And what kind of family are we? I believe there are no accidents with God. The family you were born into was no accident, and He has perfect timing for everything He does. For example, mere weeks ago, through social media, some of our family became connected for the first time. We had always heard about our rich Lebanese heritage and loving ancestors. Imagine a simple Facebook group and website united us. Our connections have been incredibly rapid, loving, and our roots and our faith are strong. What a wondrous living connection to the past. A GoFundMe campaign has been set up. Beirut will rise again with your love and support to receive donations. Special thanks to my cousin, Vicky Mahfoud, for suggesting together we do something for our ancestral homeland and for our family affected by this explosion. And thank you to Dr. Sebastian Mahfoud for championing the way. To learn more and to donate, please visit WCAT's website. No donation is too small. Cousins Vicky and Barry are the keepers of our family genealogy. Vicky, can you share how our family and genealogy came to be what it is today?
Sure. Our website was created, I believe, in close to the 2000 or thereafter, 2000, maybe 6, something like that, where a cousin, Emil Mahfoud, and a friend, a family friend, a close family friend, Hashim El-Hashim, put together this website from scratch. They worked very hard at it. It was a passion of theirs. And they lined up all the relatives, beginning with the 10 siblings of Daabous Mahfoud and Miriam Jabour. The 10 siblings who are our grandfathers and grandmothers started the clan from Marjayoun, Lebanon. And from there, the family tree drops down to show all the descendants of those 10 siblings. Help was roped in from several family members. And at that time, I believe maybe 2010, I started the Facebook group to coincide with the family website so we could communicate on the Facebook group, but also go to the website for the genealogical information. And that is how it started, pretty much with everybody chipping in from the different families with their additions, their changes, their revisions. But it all began with Emil Mahfoud and Hashim al-Hashim.
How blessed are we?
Very much so. Without this, we would have nothing to fall back on.
And why has the learning about our family tree been so important to you, Vicki?
You know, I have just always had a passion for family, for learning about my roots. We lived in Jamaica, so I know we were cut off on that island from all the rest of the family. We had a lot of family in Jamaica that the grandfathers came from Lebanon, maybe 3 of them. But there was more. I knew there was more. And I felt it wasn't enough to know about the 3 and their ancestors, but more. So that's why I always wanted to dig a little deeper.
I don't know what to say other than I think this is absolutely amazing for our family and for our families to understand where we came from. So Vicki, thank you for what you've done to this point to bring our family heritage.
It's been such a pleasure. And I hope they add on. I hope, that we have more people adding in their children, marriages, and so forth. I want it to continue and be a living, vibrant thing and not just end and become stagnant. I want everybody to add in birth of a child and marriage of a couple just to keep it moving and grow bigger and bigger.
Inshallah, that will be. Barry, we know that family trees are key to preserving family history. Why are you so keen to preserve our history?
Well, I'll be very honest. Vicki's passion has infected me. And that's because we love each other and are very close. And I see every day her passion for the Mahfoud family and for Lebanon. So yeah, it has affected me very, very deeply. And a little bit more history quickly on how we got to be more involved. I got to be more involved. Where the originator Hashem, he is getting older, and he couldn't put in as much time, and the cost of keeping the website going through the host was getting pretty expensive. So he had talked about maybe shutting it down, but he didn't want to lose all of the work that had gone into it over the years. So Vicki had an idea, and she put together the website, which Hashem was dealing with another relative, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael has a company. He's retired now, but he has a company that hosts websites. So he volunteered to host it for free. So we got together, and I helped because I love technology, and I helped to work out the transferring of the website to this free host. And now that it's over there, we both work on it just about every day. So one of the things I really care about is that new generations become passionate about their roots. My kids and a lot of people's kids, they don't know anything about their heritage, and I want to try to spread that as much as possible.
I don't think the younger generation understands fully just how important it is.
Yes.
to know where you came from. Family history also helps to keep memories alive and allow each generation to have an idea of who they are and where they come from. Barry, is there something significant you have learned as a result of knowing your family tree?
Well, I've learned how much family I have. And when we go through times like with the pandemic that we're involved in right now, you realize how important family is. And in many ways, it's the most important thing. And just being able to develop relationships, just doing what we're doing right now, getting to know you and Martin and Sebastian and Jeanette and others, it's so, it broadens my mind. It helps me to understand what family is. And that's what it's done for me.
Wonderful. And Vicki, what family traditions do you hope we'll carry on?
Traditions. Well,
The recipes.
recipes, of course. I know one big tradition we used to have was at Easter, we would not eat meat. We would have lentil soup and fish. Daabous is that, I think that's part of the Lebanese word, Arabic word. And that would be our Good Friday tradition. And no meat or big meals until Easter Day, when we would have lamb. So that's a tradition right there. So the cooking is one thing. I would like for the rest of the family to improve a little bit on the languages, for us all to become a little more acquainted. And I would like for the personality of the Lebanese to show amongst all the family with welcome to my home, alo haslan, and welcome and come in and let's have a meal together. And prepare a table full of food. This isn't enough food, but the table is as wide as the room. That sort of thing. Just hospitality, kindness, love.
Wonderful. My next question is for each of you. Have you ever visited Lebanon? If so, what was that experience like? If not, why? And after the Beirut explosion, do you have any regrets? And we'll begin with Dr. Sebastian Mahfoud.
Thank you. Addie, I have not visited Lebanon. I've gotten close. I was on the Sinai Peninsula and I climbed Mount Sinai and I looked north and I thought the Promised Land is the one country above the Promised Land, which is Lebanon. And I thought, I wonder if I can make it there. And I was advised not to. At the time, it was the mid-90s. And there was some concern about the area being volatile, you know, for car travel. So, but it's been my hope to go back to Lebanon and take my kids so that they can see our wonderful heritage as well. And, you know, I'm still able to do it when the coronavirus lifts and when travel opens again. I think it would be just an excellent opportunity to reconnect with family like Martin, who I know because of this incident. And so maybe God brings good things out of every evil. And where there's adversity, greater grace abounds. And that's the one thing that this explosion has done, is it's brought our family, I believe, closer together.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if all of us can visit one day together?
We'll all stay in Martin's rebuilt house.
There you go. Vicki, the same question for you. I know you touched on it earlier, but I'll ask you the same question, Vicki.
Yeah, so I have not been personally. My daughter has gone and stayed with Martin and his family, and she really appreciated learning about our roots and seeing the home in Marjayoun where the family began. It was a small little home, and I think it's still standing because she saw it, and meeting uncles and aunts, and the culture is so hospitable, the people are so wonderful, and she enjoyed every bit of it. And my uncle Adib, my father's brother, he went and he took his wife with him, and I think a son, and they very much enjoyed their stay. They got to witness everything that he knew from his father, my grandfather. So we definitely want to go at some point. Where there's family, I would like to go.
Wonderful, wonderful. And Barry, how about you?
Never been. My family, my dad is the one who's Lebanese. My mother is British. So my loyalties, were somewhat divided in that respect. But with what's gone on, it's really opened my eyes to Lebanon. I do remember growing up, everybody on the Lebanese side would talk about Lebanon, and it's the most beautiful place on earth. And just seeing pictures, not the results of the bomb, obviously, but other pictures outside of the area, and putting together the website, looking at Marjayoun and the amazing beauty of that part of the world. It makes me determined to visit, and I will go with Vicky, so I'll hang out with her.
Well, maybe we'll all hang out with you too. And Jeanette, I know you were born in Lebanon, Jeanette. You left as a young child. You did return later in life. Why don't you share your experience about your trip and just Lebanon in general?
Well, as for myself, I've always wanted to go visit Lebanon. And just before the Civil War, I wanted to surprise Mama with a trip back home. She hadn't been back home since they left in 1951. And the passport and everything was ready. And she said, Jeanette, she said, I would love to go. But, we've got 6 girls at home, 2 boys. Your father's passed away. It's better if you go, because there's, what will people say that you've left? So I thought at the same time, my Siti was very ill. She was getting on in age, and I wanted to make sure she saw her. She said, you go in my place and it'll be as if I was there. So I went to Lebanon. It was everything I expected it to be and more. I knew my aunts, my uncles, everybody, kind. There's nothing but wonderful things, wonderful memories I have of Lebanon. And that was just the beginning of the Civil War there. Things were not, as safe as they should be. You could hear the rumblings in the background. Unfortunately, my Siti died while I was there, so at least I was able to be there. And I came back, and I don't know what else. I've told everyone about Lebanon. I love Lebanon. It doesn't matter if I came when I was 2 years old. I'm Lebanese through and through, Canadian Lebanese, but Lebanese at heart. And Mama taught us, kept the traditions. That's why I speak Arabic. I was the oldest, so I was always there with Mom and Daddy. And when they couldn't speak English, I had to be there to speak Arabic and translate to them, which was a very big gift that they left me. And I just, whatever happens in Lebanon affects us terribly. We keep in contact with all of our family. We have such a warm, loving family. I can't. I love our family, and I love Lebanon.
And I think your love for Lebanon comes through, Jeanette. It comes through just as you are the matriarch of our family, and we know you pass that on to each of us all the time. So thank you, Jeanette.
Thank you.
Knowing our heritage and where we came from allows us to weave the past into our present. For those listening, if you do not have a family tree, I strongly urge you to begin yours. I know I speak on behalf of my cousins when I say the connection was instant and has been absolutely amazing. We wouldn't be here today if we did not have a family tree. There truly is something special about sharing blood. It is essential to understanding ourselves, basic humanity and diversity. To understand ourselves, we must first know from whence we came. Dr. Sebastian Mahfoud, what would you like to see happen in Lebanon? No sound?
There we go. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
So the hazards of a muted world, It'd be great if Lebanon could be restored to what it was before the Civil War. But that's now a part of our history, and that's a part of our who we are as Lebanese, even Lebanese in diaspora. So we're in Canada, and we're in America, and we're in Kingston, Jamaica, and so on. And there's still a very strong connection. And I echo that about the family tree. You know, Emil Mahfoud, he had a stroke in 1995 or 1994. And it's another instance of God's bringing good out of evil, because he didn't have the wherewithal to do anything, great in terms of physical activity. So he sat down at his computer and he started working up a family tree. And here we are. Going forward, I think Martin has provided us with an image of what the present day situation has brought about, to address that and to use this as an opportunity to resolve long-standing issues that were there before the explosion, and that the explosion has given us occasion to address. So what I'd like to do is, if you don't mind, is show the website real quick and throw that on the screen, and then stop talking, and eventually we'll get to Martin, who will tell us what's actually happening on the ground and what kind of vision this new engagement may help us bring about. So briefly, since we are in video as well, and for those listening on WCAT Radio, if you go to WCATradio.com/help for Beirut, you'll see what I'm showing on the screen, and I'll describe it. It's just a very simple web page that provides text that Martin has drafted for us under the title, Beirut Will Rise Again with Your Love and Support. And I'll scroll down, and you can see some pictures of the damage that was done. And scrolling further, more pictures. And then an opportunity for people who want to make a donation to be able to click a Make Your Donation Today button and receive a digital badge that they can post on their social media, sharing with others that this donation opportunity is available to help rebuild the city that is the mother to us all. So with that, I'll stop sharing my screen. And I'll hand it back to you, Addie. Hopefully that provides a response.
That was wonderful. Well said, Martin. Well, pardon me. Well said, Sebastian. Vicki, let me ask you the same question. What would you like to see happen in Lebanon? And do you feel there's a sense of hopelessness there right now?
I would of course like to see everybody be able to gain back, even if it is 9/10 of what they have lost. They can't regain their family members that were killed. Some were badly injured. Some of that cannot be replaced. But I want to see them get back. I want them to come back stronger than before. And I don't feel there is a sense of hopelessness. I feel the Lebanese are very strong. They have fought adversity before. They will continue to fight adversity as long as there is Lebanon. And I believe that they will fight for their rights, fight for what they need to make their life going forward more comfortable and safe. And I think it can be done. It's just a matter of getting them the help that they need. The Lebanese are not a weak people. They're not ones to give in. They have a strong sense of responsibility and loyalty to their country. So I feel it will go well with everyone helping them, and us as a group especially.
Wonderful. And I'm going to share a real quick story, and I think it ties in exactly, Vicki, to how you ended the answer to your question. I recently heard about a young Lebanese woman who was killed during the explosion. She built a successful career in wealth management and had been living in Switzerland. but she made the decision to leave the economic safety and stability of life in Europe and go back to her homeland, Lebanon. She missed her roots, her culture, her people. She believed in her country and in its soul. She believed that if every successful Lebanese left, who would be left to help Lebanon become a better place? So exactly to what you were saying, we have these Lebanese people who leave. She came back because she believes in her country and she knows there's no other place like it. May she rest in peace. For those who have just tuned in, our topic today is the aftermath of the Beirut explosion, which has been likened to the aftermath of the atomic bomb over Hiroshima. My name is Daabous, and I'm your host today, and my guests are Dr. Sebastian Mahfoud and his cousins from Canada, Florida, and Beirut. Glad you could join us. Now we're going to go directly to Beirut to my cousin, Martin Mahfouz. Martin, I can speak on behalf of all of our cousins. I'm so sorry for your loss. Our hearts go out to all of those who have lost loved ones and all those who have been so terribly injured. Martin, I'm about to ask a couple tough questions about what you have lost, of course. You don't have to answer. Do you mind if I ask?
No, you can. Go ahead.
Do you feel able to talk with me right now about what's happened in Beirut?
Okay, I'll start a small story about what I felt first when the bomb was attacked, or when the bomb attacked the port of Beirut. Everyone in Lebanon or in Beirut felt that the bomb was at home because the explosion was so big, and everyone felt that something happened in the house or then something happened in the road. No one knows what happened. You only see glasses and doors, walls going down all over. People are all covered with blood. And especially when I see my mother cut her hand with the glass, it was a big, big shock for every Lebanese living in Beirut or around. It was like a big surprise to see how the explosion did to Beirut. It's like you are restarting to rebuild a new town because nothing, you can see nothing in Beirut, everything was down. The old building, the old, was a large history, was totally down. Everything, it's like mess everywhere. We are trying to survive and to rebuild our town, the historical capital, Beirut, where as we can do, or as we can try to rebuild it.
Martin, who is in Lebanon right now? I mean, I know we hear things about, different representation that's there, different countries, different people. Can you tell us who exactly is in Lebanon right now?
Who is what, please?
What countries are in Lebanon right now?
What countries?
Yes.
There is plenty of countries. It's more than, we have like, what do you can you specify, what do you mean? Please?
For humanitarian aid, for help.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
so we have
countries are there?
Yeah, we have, first of all, we have the UNDP. And we have the British aid. We have Italian aid, French, American, even Egypt, and I think Canadian, and for sure the Gulf, like Abu Dhabi and Dubai, they send their helps, and Qatar also.
Because for us, you hear things on the news and, oftentimes you're not sure, is it sensationalism? What's going on? And that's why I think having you here, Martin, you're telling us firsthand exactly what is happening in Beirut versus us finding this news elsewhere. What would you like the people of the world to know about Beirut?
I don't know what's the story that the people know about Beirut, or what they are giving them, which picture are they giving them. I only need to tell them that in Lebanon we are a very, very lovely people, or very good people that loves each other, care for each other. But the problem is the political, the things that made the problems between the people. Especially when you have different type of people, like different type of what we call it. Sorry, in Arabic, tawa'if. Don't know it in English. Sorry.
Jeanette, do you know what tawa'if is, Jeanette?
There's different cultures in Lebanon. This is the problem. This is the first problem, and everyone doesn't take care of itself. They want to take care of everything around. So the problem is we are a small country with big problems, and we're not able to solve our problems because we're in a disaster political view.
Martin, if at any time, Martin, you feel that there's something you're not able to express, remember you have Jeanette. She can be your interpreter at any time if you feel that you want to convey a message that you're not able to express solely on your own. Khalil Gibran once said, "You may forget with whom you laughed, but you'll never forget with whom you wept." Martin, in the spirit of Khalil Gibran's message, share with us something of the depth on the people, on the impact of the people of Lebanon.
Okay. Lebanon people are, like I said before, surviving people because of what happened totally from long time ago to now, from the wars that happened to Lebanon, from everything happened, from Israel attack, from now the explosion. So what we can call the Lebanese people, they are survivors. That's it. We are really survivors.
I think the Lebanese people are very resilient. And I've not traveled the world, but maybe I'm a little biased. I think the Lebanese people are very strong and resilient people. Martin, how is your mother doing? And would you like to share what happened with your mother during the explosion?
Yeah. I'll tell you the story. How was it? Like, I was sleeping, and then I woke up to enter the kitchen, and then the bomb came out like 6 p.m. She was stuck. She was in the salon, sitting in the sitting room, sitting, and then she entered to the kitchen. While entering the kitchen, the bomb go out, so the windows was broken, and the glass hit her hand. And pressure of the explosion threw her from the sitting room to the kitchen, like 4 or 5 meters from where she was standing. And I hear her voice in my background screaming, "Help, help, help," because she can't see nothing. It's all down. The glasses are down. The windows are out. The doors are broken. And only I can hear her voice screaming. I just arrived to her and checked, like, her hands are covered with blood. And I saw her fingers fell down from her hand. Like, I was shocked to see her like that. And then we moved to the hospital. She just carried her fingers, and then we went to the hospital. once we arrived to the hospital, like, it's a miracle that we arrived there, but because of the people that are coming from all over Beirut, the hospital was down also, and everyone was screaming and shocked and surprised for what happened. So the intensive care was like a hell. Everything was down, everything was broken, but thanks God they gave her the aid first of all.
You know what? We can't even imagine. We cannot even imagine experiencing something like that. We wish your mother all the best, Martin, and we hope that her recovery will be full. She's lucky to have you. She's very lucky to have you. Will the city of Beirut recover, Martin?
Not till now.
And how do you so you're saying you don't believe so you don't believe Beirut will ever recover, period, or just it'll take years?
I believe Beirut will be recovered because the Lebanese people have always the hope to do things. The first view at the explosion day, you can see the people themselves helping themselves to reach the hospital or to remove the glass or to clean, because we don't have a good government or good help from the government. So people themselves are helping themselves.
So the Lebanese,
they are helping.
So it sounds like the Lebanese, something I had come across, the Lebanese people themselves are in the streets cleaning. They're there for each other. I mean, that is such a desperate situation.
Yes. This is something nice to see, but it's very bad to feel it because of the explosion.
I think because you feel, I'm sure there's a part of just feeling abandoned.
Yes.
But you just feel that you've been left, and it's wonderful, as you said, to have family come in or have people come in, Lebanese people, and clean up, but really that is not your job. That's the job of the government, and it's unfortunate Lebanon's government has not been the government that you have dreamed of having. It feels as if the Lebanese people not only lost everything they owned, but lost much of what they ever did. 1/3 of old, beautiful architect of Beirut was destroyed, which is the heart of the Christian area of Beirut, which is the identity of Beirut. Martin, I shared a story about the young Lebanese woman who built a successful career in wealth management in Switzerland and how her desire was to return to Lebanon because of her love for her country. Do your families and the people in Lebanon today share her sentiments? Or do you think today, as a result of this, some of them are thinking, I want to leave?
Yeah. The problem is, after standing all this year with nothing is changing, a lot of people are thinking of traveling or leaving the country. But my point is that my country is not a hotel to stay in and then to leave it when I don't like it. What I think I can do, or what I think everyone can do, is to start changing themselves, start changing the political people, bring new people, new generation to survive and to change and to bring Lebanon to a good step.
How can we and our listeners help Beirut today, Martin?
Okay, starting with the donation that they are sending, this is the good thing that they did, Dr. Sebastian and Vicky. They open a donation site so people can help to raise Beirut. But this is not the point to raise only Beirut. The problem is, or the thing is, we will raise Beirut soon as we can. But we need to raise Lebanon, the whole country, to build a new life for people.
Do you feel the Lebanese people today have what it takes to do that again?
I wish. I don't know, because we are here related to our political people. Lebanese people are related to their mans or their political people. I wish they will change their mind and start thinking about new people, new generation, to restart our country. And this is the good thing that the people outside Lebanon could do, is to come back and try to change, try to bring new staff. Because I call the government that they are our staff. They work for us. But in Lebanon, it's the opposite.
Martin, paint a picture of the perfect Beirut, the Beirut you remembered.
I'm not too old to remember Beirut with the good things, but I can share what I hear from my parents and grandparents, that Beirut was a very, very nice historical capital, where everything was like sent from Beirut to the world. Especially we have the Phoenician people that started to build the ships, and then they went all over the world. So Beirut, how we study it in school, or how we learn history about it, it's something difficult to say or difficult to describe. I wish we can go back to that time.
I'm going to turn the question over to Jeanette, because Jeanette was in Beirut and she experienced the beauty of Beirut that has been destroyed. Jeanette, would you like to share what your experience was like with this jewel of the Middle East and Paris of the Middle East?
Well, I think I was very fortunate that I got to go to Lebanon. I know that we have spoken, my siblings and I have spoken many times about going back, and unfortunately it just didn't happen. And now it's even further along in our mind. It's just the beauty of the country. You can go from Marjayoun up to the top of Lebanon in 2 hours, and you have the ocean, you have the cedars, you have these beautiful people who welcome you. Just to see family in all the different areas of Lebanon, welcoming, you know, they remembered Mama, they didn't know me, but because of, you know, Mama, they welcomed me. I had heard so many stories. Mama kept us all up to date on her family, her uncles, the uncles that left to Jamaica that they never heard from again. And this is something we've always wanted to know. We've come across a few relatives who, you know, whose parents did immigrate to Jamaica. So there's a little bit of history, but it's just a place that you go and you don't want to come back. It's, and you know, and I remember hearing, you know, people say, oh, in Lebanon, you know, we had this, like, you know, whatever, and we have Lebanon is this. And I used to think, if Lebanon is so great, why don't you just stay there? Well, when I went to Lebanon, I knew what they were talking about. As far as everything that was there, even the fashions, I used to think, wow, this is fantastic. We don't have this in Canada yet. Well, 2 years later, the fashion came to Canada. They were always one step ahead of everyone else. And I think that is why Lebanon was always the prize in everybody's eyes. It was the jewel. Everybody wanted a little piece of Lebanon. And no wonder, once you've been there, there's nothing bad that I could say, except that, of course, you know, the Civil War started, and then the Lebanese people picked themselves up after that. The phoenix rose again, and, you know, we were so happy. They did so much, recovery. And now I say the wings of the phoenix have been clipped, but you know what? I have faith that that phoenix is going to rise again. I have to have faith because that's the faith that I live by. And I wish everyone in Lebanon nothing but the best.
Thank you, Jeanette. This show opened with a preamble of the Beirut explosion, which has been catastrophic for Lebanon, to say the least. As you heard earlier, Lebanon's already stressful economic and political situation has taken a vicious toll on this country. Top that off with the coronavirus pandemic, the violent sudden blast that sucked the oxygen out of the city and the people. And this is something that they have never experienced before. And this explosion was felt more than 250 kilometers away. We can only imagine, but our cousin Martin, who's joining us today, who's with us here today, actually lived it. And Martin is here with us today to tell the story. You've seen from Dr. Sebastian Mahfoud the way you can donate. So we urge you please to visit the WCAT radio station and to donate. Challenge your supporters, challenge your friends to be more involved. How can you challenge your supporters? If you're unable to make a donation, please share the link throughout your social media. Any piece, any part you can do is much appreciated. Sebastian, I want to ask this question. Do people truly understand, people here in Canada, in the United States, in North America, do you think they truly understand the situation in Lebanon right now?
I think we're preoccupied here in North America with our own problems. You know, we're the coronavirus center of the world. And when we hear about other things, if you look at our social media, we're taking bets on the next disaster. You know, what is September going to bring? You know, well, August brought an explosion in Beirut, but July was something before that. And we had at one point murder hornets entering the country and riots and so on. So our preoccupation with our own problems is something like what happened in Beirut, I would hope, would snap us back into understanding that the rest of the world is experiencing hardships. And if we can get outside of our own problems for a little while, we'll be a little better off, I think. So, so hopefully we understand, but I don't think that the full magnitude of what's happened is going to, has changed the United States at this particular time. So those are just my thoughts. I know that it has mobilized at least a handful of Lebanese. And that's us here in Canada and the United States. And I'm in Missouri right now. My uncle is in Texas and Vicky's in Florida. So I mean, we represent a good part of the geography, at least. I know there are more, and I hope that we reach them too.
I hope so too. And I think I echo your sentiments when you had said about, you know, stepping out of yourself. I live by that motto, not to make it about yourself. And I believe we're put on this earth not just to do for ourselves, but to serve others. So if more people can jump on board with this GoFundMe campaign, that would be absolutely wonderful. You've heard Martin's story about the trials and tribulations that his family and the rest of our family there are experiencing. These relatives in Beirut have lost their seaside homes. Over 300,000 Lebanese are homeless today. We talk about the homeless plight in North America, and you know just how serious that is. So please, we cannot urge you enough to please show your support. And remember, no donation is too small. Martin, I'm going to leave you with this final question. What's next for Lebanon, Martin? What's next for Lebanon?
Nobody knows what's next, but we will try to do the next. The next step should be to organize a good country, to rebuild our country, and maybe not to forget but not to forgive what happened, but to try to born as a newborn.
I think Lebanon is very blessed, Martin, to have you. You know, I really believe, I do believe that, not just because you're my cousin whom I just recently met through our wonderful Facebook page and our website. I know my sister Jeanette has been connected with you previously, but Lebanon is very blessed to have you, Martin, because I know that you're a fighter and I know you will do for the Lebanese people. You're one person. You can't do it alone. You need the support and you need others to help you make this happen. So Martin, God bless you. We ask God to have mercy on the Lebanese people, and we ask him to mend their broken wings. And we know the broken wings is something from Khalil Gibran. I have woven in Khalil Gibran into this show because he is our poet. He is our writer, our national writer. Thank you everyone so much for participating in this interview. You've given us incredible insight into our family, Martin, into the Beirut explosion and into the situation right now in Lebanon. God bless each of you and bless the people of Lebanon. Once again, to learn more, please visit WCAT's radio station and visit our GoFundMe campaign. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Addie, for your leadership.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.